It is day 17, 6:36 a.m. in the Big Brother UK All-Stars house. Outside, we have Pete tending to our chickens. Pete is always good with chores. When he was Ministry of Plenty, he was always cooking. Now that he's outside in the garden, he's always tending, always cleaning the coop and feeding them. So it's like no real surprise. Any chore that needs to be done in the house, Pete is definitely going to do it. In the bedroom, Gary Busey is waking up. Meanwhile, Courtney and Emma Willis get closer than ever before. In the living room, we have Gemma leaving dirty dishes all over the place instead of actually cleaning them, while there is a bit of a girls' session going on the couch as Nadia, New York, Makosi, and Isabelle have a conversation. Well, before Nadia walks away. And to be honest, Isabelle isn't really having that much part in the conversation. She's mainly just kind of sitting there overlooking and watching as Makosi and New York really start to bond and become good friends. And then Cameron does eventually come over and join Isabelle. However, neither of them talk to one another. He just kind of sits there and drinks some Kool-Aid and gets his day started. Meanwhile, in the kitchen, Brian is bartending while Rylan, Nikki, Victor, Hellen, and Gemma all sit around and talk to him, and Cameron comes in and tries to get himself another glass. I gotta say, first thing in the morning, heading to the bar, no one's really drinking or eating, but it really does set a tone for the rest of the day. At 9:17 a.m., Big Brother goes ahead and calls all of the house guests into the living room. He makes them, of course, sit in their appropriate colored team sections. And we are going to have part 3 of our green versus blue challenge. So, of course, in part 1, blue team lost and green team won access to the garden. Meanwhile, yesterday in part 2, the blue team won access to the bedroom. So naturally today, after 3 days of not having access to a toilet or a shower, you guys will be competing for access to the bathroom. This is 3 out of 4 challenges, with it all concluding tomorrow. So it's even more important that you start claiming domain of the house. It's all pretty simple. You're going to head back to the task room, located past the diary room, of course. And back there, we have a woodworking table, and we're all going to, in unison, carve some pieces of wood, and whichever team earns the most money will win access to the bathroom. So as soon as everyone gets back here, they all instantly start working on the wood, apart from Nikki, who instead decides to go ahead and take a nap, which is exactly what she did in the running competition they had in part 1. And now in this part, she's just quitting altogether as well, except everyone else is steadily going on through. And now some of our house guests do actually have a lot of skill points in this because of all the repairing going on. So this is the same skill point as fixing a toilet, fixing a sink, fixing an oven, all that kind of stuff. And we see a lot of our house guests constantly doing that, as those of that stuff is breaking every single day. So not everyone is actually building the same object. I picked whatever object was the most expensive that they could build. So people like Craig, for example, I mean, he's a carpenter in real life, but he also does a lot of fixing in the Big Brother house. So he was actually able to make what's supposed to be a $17 piece of furniture. So not all of them are going to get done at the same time, as some of them are just making a $5 knife block, while others are making pieces of furniture and other kinds of statues. However, they do slowly start wrapping things up. We see Isabelle, Emma, Gemma has finished things up. I'm trying to look all around. Brian just finished his. Hellen just finished hers. Nadia's wrapping up her piece. So everyone is slowly finishing everything up. And then the people that are left are people like Craig and Cameron is one, and other people that are actually building big pieces of furniture. So to kind of even it all out and see who is done, who's not done, I go ahead and Big Brother tells them to all sit in their assigned areas as we see who all is left. Craig in New York finished up. Charley finished up, and now Cameron is the last one to finish once Makosi is all wrapped up. And he actually seems a bit annoyed that he's the last one to finish. However, thankfully for him, this isn't about speed or endurance or anything. It's solely about the product. So he can take as long as he wants, as long as he comes out with a good quality craft. It seems to be taking him a lot longer, not just because he's crafting something expensive, but he's also feeling a little bit under the weather. He seems a bit dizzy, dehydrated, sick. And I mean, that's going to happen, especially with none of them having access to the bathroom at all. I think whichever team does win this, it's going to give them such a huge advantage for the final part tomorrow. Once he finally finishes, he does vent a little. He lets out his aggression, and Big Brother goes ahead and tallies up the totals. Blue team, you have a total of 165 big bucks. However, the green team had a total of 347, resulting in the green team winning access to the bathroom. Now they have access over both the garden and the bathroom. Meanwhile, the blue team only has access to the bedroom. However, it all cultivates down to tomorrow when they compete for access to the diary room with a chance of saving their whole team from eviction. But of course, it depends on how well they've been doing. I mean, the green team now has advantage of getting the outdoors, getting to relax in the hot tub, getting some fresh air, and now they also have access to a toilet and shower. Meanwhile, the blue team just has access to the bedroom that they're pissing in all the beds with. However, Brian's not pissed in the bed. He's doing some self-woohoo in the bed. I was going to say some other kind of stuff, but whatever. Cameron comes in the bedroom. He just doesn't even pay him any attention. He goes straight into bed. Meanwhile, most of the green team are now exploring their brand new bathroom. I, of course, had to set the lights to green. Kind of gives the place a bit of like a subway station feel. At 12:09 p.m., Gary is sexily making a drink at the bar in front of Nikki in his underwear. She doesn't seem to enjoy it all that much. She ends up leaving pretty soon, and he ends up just talking to himself instead. Meanwhile, other people just kind of try to clean the kitchen around him and act like he's not there. Kind of like what you do with a homeless man on the street, and they're, talking crazy, acting all weird. You just look the other way. Meanwhile, in the living room, it's pretty much a huge party in there. Even though all the rooms have been opened now, the whole house is open to, selected team members. They are all still together in one room. They've all kind of cultivated in the living room, and they're all just talking, getting to know each other. Everyone seems to be in a bit of a good mood, surprisingly. Maybe it has to do with them, letting all their stress out on pieces of wood, or that all the house is unlocked, or that they're getting closer to actually being together and this task being over. I'm not too sure exactly, but they're all getting along and all really enjoying their time together. This is some of the fullest this house will be, so they really do need to soak in this time. However, it doesn't take too long for some green members to eventually go outside and hop in the hot tub or whatever. But weirdly, over the past few days, they've been kind of going to random doors in the house, like the fire exit door in the bedroom, and then they're all going to the diary room, asking to use the bathroom. And now today, for some reason, they've all discovered upstairs and the front door area. I guess they completely forgot this area even existed. I'm not too sure, but now all of a sudden they all randomly want to come up here and act like they're going to go somewhere, but the door is locked. The door is always locked except for when someone leaves on eviction night. So they get up here, they have nowhere to go, or they get up here and they're just looking at the artwork, the cameras or the blueprints on the wall. I don't know. Victor and Pete even make it all the way to the front door, look at the camera, they approve of the surroundings, and then Pete and them eventually just leave. So it's very strange. I don't really know. It's kind of happened since the update recently that all that kind of stuff is going on. I have updated my mod, so things will start being less glitchy, hopefully, but Yeah, I don't. They're just trying every emergency door every day. I'm sure tomorrow it'll be like the emergency door in the pantry. The next day will be the emergency door in the garden. I don't know. While Pete was up there, though, Big Brother did notice that he had some stripes on his skin, some kind of contagious reaction going on. So he did go ahead and call Pete to the diary room to go ahead and have a doctor come in and medicate him and everything. Meanwhile, Gemma warms herself up outside, and Craig and Victor have a really weird, secretive conversation over by the stairs while Makosi goes up and down them for the second or potentially third time in a row now. Isabelle having her first go around up there. I mean, I honestly would do that if I lived in the house. I would be like touching everything on the walls, looking under all the couches, walking around, twisting every doorknob, because you're bored. Like, they've been there 17 days. They've been looking at the same four walls for 17 days. What else can you do besides, like, really fully digest and explore all of them? At 3:28 p.m., tragedy once again strikes the Big Brother house. I thought Gary was just like kneeling over because he had to pee really bad. His bladder was like at its all-time low, but I think at old age he just couldn't even take that anymore. I did get a warning a couple days ago that Gary was coming close to the end of his time with him being an elder and everything, but then I went into like MC Command Center and I tried to extend his life and I thought that worked, but apparently it did not, as he has passed away from old age. So I did go ahead, I looked at his relationship statuses to see who he was closest to and not closest to. He had a couple of enemies, with Brian being his number one enemy. But he also didn't like a couple people like Courtney, New York, Charley, a lot of the people that end up getting nominated. Gary did have a total of 25 big bucks, and based on those statuses, he was actually surprisingly closest to Victor, even though Victor is technically still kind of the newest house guest. The two of them were closest, so Victor will be receiving those 25 big bucks. And to check out everyone's big bucks inquiries, it's always listed down below in the description. This is the first time that the Grim Reaper has actually showed up. For some reason, when Aaron died, the Grim Reaper never showed, and I had to actually like reset his body in the pool because like the Grim Reaper just never came and he was just floating there for hours. It was very strange. So this is the first time he's actually shown up and taken Gary away. Everyone is of course obviously upset. This is the second death we've had in this house. This one, however, kind of goes by them a lot quicker. I'm honestly shockingly surprised at how fast this death seems to kind of move on for a lot of the house guests, and I think maybe it's a bit more peaceful for them because of the reason he died. It's also really unfortunate that he died in the bedroom, but because the bedroom is locked for only blue team members, only the blue team members are here to actually see it, to see his final goodbyes, to mourn together. They're the only ones that are actually there to witness it all. Of course, me, myself, and I, hot dogs, have to come in. We're not going to do the full-on funeral again because I can't do that every single time a house guest dies. I didn't think it'd be this frequent. So I am just going to come here and get the ashes and everything, say my little goodbye to everyone and my condolences and head out. Now, Gary, like Aaron, might be alive in real life, not in The Sims. However, Gary actually has died like 8 times, so I guess like a cat, this is his 9th life in my Sims game, and he's actually out this time. If this was real life Big Brother, he would die and then came back to life, and then talked about how he saw Jesus in the light, and go on weird tangents about that. Thankfully, well, that actually totally could happen with the ghost. His ghost is probably going to come back and just haunt us, even more so than Aaron is. But after a quick little cry, I am out of the Big Brother house. At 8:49 p.m., it's almost like the death has not even happened, especially with the green team members who were not in the bedroom during the time. They are completely just happy and oblivious to what's going on. Craig goes outside to make some food, and I gotta say, with the green lighting and the purple and everything, the backyard looks extra good right now. Like, I almost don't want to change the lights from being green because it just complements everything so well. I love seeing the chickens walk filedly. I don't know, one by one into the hen house. They go to sleep. I think they're just so cute. Meanwhile, Craig makes some grilled plantains, which I honestly think sounds gross, but I don't really like hot fruit. Just a preference. Then a lot of the girls, Makosi, Nadia, Gemma, they all come outside. This house is so girl powered. I mean, we have so many strong females in there, and then not to mention that now we've officially had 4 people leave the house, 2 due to death and 2 due to you guys not saving them, and all 4 of them have been male. So I think that's actually pretty surprising, and it's not like that in real life. I mean, almost every single time on Big Brother UK, a girl went home first. Also, I love seeing Nikki console Courtney with the backwards hand hug. That's always the best, most comforting hug you can receive in the world. But we see there's just so many girls. They're all so dominating, and I don't know, it's interesting to see where that's all going to go and if it's still going to continue being a pattern of all men leaving the house. Unfortunately for Gary, he will not get a replacement like Aaron did. I gave Aaron a replacement. It was the first week. It was really sudden. Gary will not. And we'll actually find out more kind of twists that somewhat involve that a little bit later on in the week. Meanwhile, Craig eating some food. Everyone's acting like nothing happened. At 10:08 p.m., all of the green team members are all like crowding around outside, enjoying Craig's plantains that he cooked for everyone. Everyone seems to still be in a pretty good mood, apart from Nadia and random house guests that are like dehydrated and sick. Again, I'm just hoping that I'm either going to cut that out, or I'm hoping that once summer comes, the flu season kind of leaves and everyone's not getting sick. So that the green team is hanging out outside, the blue team has to cook their meal inside in the kitchen. And this time, not only is Brian cooking up some eggs, but Cameron is also making some grilled cheese. And I gotta say, it's pretty hectic. I actually don't even think he's making grilled cheese because now he's cutting up lettuce. I'm not too sure what he's making, but it looks scary. I'm just hoping that another accident doesn't happen. And it's so weird that the blue team is so upset. I mean, you see like both of the boys right here are sad and frowning the whole time they're cooking. Meanwhile, someone like Victor, who's on the green team, totally neutral, totally fine. Nothing's going on. It's so weird how it's really only affected the blue team members. And again, I think the lighting in here is so much fun. I need to figure out like, I don't know. I think every task now has to have really crazy lighting. And for people that play The Sims that don't adjust your lighting, I don't know what's going on with you. But anyway, everyone else is wrapping up. After they've eaten, they start heading to bed. And that wraps up our day. Now, again, we still have 8 house guests now up on the block. When it comes to the green team members, we have Pete, Nadia, Victor, and Makosi. And on the blue team, we have Nikki, Rylan, Charley, and Cameron. Which of these 8 house guests do you want to save? And after tomorrow, when they compete for the diary room, one team will be completely immune from eviction. Whoever you nominate or whoever you vote for, they will receive that vote as one BigBuck and it will be added to their inquiry. Again, you can view everyone's down below as well as my Twitter and everything else. Follow, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.